All right, so parallel lines. First, what do we know or what should we know about all parallel lines? What is equal? The slopes are the same. Okay? So when you have, when your answer choices are in slope-intercept form, you want to eliminate any answer choice that does not have the correct slope. Okay? So if you look at this first example, it says, what is an equation in slope-intercept form of a line that passes through this point? That's important. But that is parallel, same slope, to this line. The only reason they give you this equation is because they want to know you need to know the slope from that. What is the slope? The slope is 1.2. Okay? So, what answers can we get rid of just knowing that part? B and D. Now from there, if you look at your answer choices, they're all in y equals form. So you can type those into y equals in your calculator and see which ones contain that 0.50. And that's what we're going to do. Starting with the first one. First answer choice is y is equal to 1.2x minus 6. Then you go to your table. So to get to the table, what do you press? Second graph. And then we're looking for the 0.50. This one has 50.
It's not C.
And then why did I circle C in the other one? Last year I circled C. So last year I told my kids the answer was C. Whoops. Anyway, if I type in answer choice C, second graph, this one gives me 0.5, not 50. This one gives me 511. So that's probably where I messed up. Nice. I set my students up for failure last year. Whoops, sorry. Anyway, this one gives you 511, not 50. So your answer is A. Uh-oh, that sucks. Okay. Now,
I bet your smart kids were so confused.
they probably were. They probably tried to correct me and I said no. Anyway, which equation best represents a point slope form that passes through W and is parallel to line P?
Can I guess and see if I can
Put that in the box.
I'm gonna guess B.
Okay, now first thing you notice is that the line is going in what direction?
Up.
Up.
Yeah.
So that means that the slope is
Positive.
positive. Now, all of these are written in point slope form. What we know about point slope form is that even if you solve it, the slope doesn't change. So the slope is going to stay the same even after solving, meaning this one's going to stay negative, this one's going to stay positive, this one's negative, this one's positive, right? So you can get rid of what two answers?
A and C.
A and C, okay? Now from there,
Let's go.
the point that they want us to choose or compare it is point what? It says it has to go through point W. What is point W? 1.5. Okay? So now, in order to be able to put B and D into y equals, every number has to be on the same side of the equal sign, or it has to be solved for y. Meaning, all I need to do is move this 5 over to the right by doing what? Adding the 5. Adding the 5. So then you get y equals 4 over 5, parentheses, x minus 1 plus 5. And that is what I'm going to put into y equals to check. Like, once again, I'm allowing the calculator to do the math part for me. I don't have to solve it, okay? So when I type it into y equals 4/5, parentheses, x minus 1 plus 5, and then I hit second graph.
Oh, it's B! I'm so good.
There's 1/5. Got it? So, moral of the story, make sure that that everything is on the same side, all your numbers, okay? Make sure it's solved.
Moral of the story story, I'm goated because I guessed it right.
Guessed it?
Yup.
That's not good.
No, I just like was saying random answers. Just wanted to see how good my luck was today. So I guess
Was it good enough? Okay, give me a second. I have to. My math teachers are asking me for something.
Okay, let's guess the next one. I'm gonna guess D.
Okay,
It's gonna be D.
so next one. Why didn't it clear out? There we go. Now, when your answer choices are in standard form, meaning when your answer choices are in standard form, it makes it a little bit more difficult. It makes it longer. Now, the way to first eliminate some answer choices is to check and see if 6, -1 belongs to those. There is a way to do that without having to check the table. You would have now 6 and -1. Those represent what kind of values? It's X and Y. So technically, you can store X and Y into the calculator, okay? And that's what we're going to do. Because the long way of doing this is to solve this one for Y and solve all of these for Y, then check the point. That's a long way to, or that's a long process. So we're going to take the short way out, right, Josiah? What are we going to do first? By doing what? No. So we're going to start with the point. We're going to plug that point into each one of these to see which two equations it does belong to, okay? We're going to do that by storing. So go to your home screen. We're going to store both numbers. We're going to store X and Y. So I'm going to type in 6, store X. And then -1, store. Now to type the Y, I feel like a lot of you guys have already figured out how to text with these calculators. You're going to press alpha 1. There's the Y. The Y is in yellow, so alpha 1. Enter. So now it's going to plug in a 6 for X and a -1 for Y. And I can type in my very first equation. My first equation, my first answer choice is 8X plus 3Y equals. To type in the equal sign, you're going to press, what is it? Second math. Second math, there's your equal sign right there. Yes? And then equals -45. Now you're going to do that for, you're going to type every equation. So 8X minus 3
And you should give us like one
Y. It should give you either a 1 or a 0. Okay, 8X plus 3Y equals 45. 8X minus 3Y equals 51. Ooh, it can be C or it can be D. You got 2 zeros, 2 ones. Zeros mean false statement. 1 means true statement. Okay? So we're down to C and D. At least we narrowed it down. Yes?
Come on, D.
Get rid of A and B. Now, if they're parallel, actually, yes. If they're parallel, notice that if we put both of these equations, the question part and the answer choice into, we can put it in the calculator because they're both in standard form. We can put it into matrix. If we put it into matrix, what should we get since they're parallel? Since they have to be parallel. Parallel is 0, 0, 1.
So you go to matrix?
So yeah, now we're going to put those into matrix, correct. Second matrix.
It is,
8, 3, 15. And then 8, 3, 45.
Did you a second quit?
C.
Don't forget about second quit. Be ref. The first one gives me 0, 0, 1. But just so you see what a wrong answer would look like, the second one has a -3 and a 51. This answer choice D would give me 0, 1, -6. Okay?
Yeah, it's wrong.
So your answer is C. So this one gives me 0, 0, 1. This one gives me 0, 1, -6. So your answer is C. Okay?
It's definitely D. I actually guessed C.
Now you can also solve this for Y and solve these two for Y as well. Because if they're parallel, they're going to have the same slope. Okay? Next page. Good job. Perpendicular. Yes.
It's parallel means equal, right? So,
Parallel is same slope.
so if we put it in y equals and we use the graph thing and it's like when it goes
If you graph it, you'll have parallel lines.
They weren't in the y equals. Like we could just plug them in how they were.
Oh, but if you wanted to, you could change them first to do that. But that takes too long, right?
That takes, not that it takes too long, it takes longer. Takes longer. Perpendicular. First, what do we know about, perpendicular lines, not parallel.
Oh.
Perpendicular lines. They intersect. Yes, their slopes are inverse reciprocals. Why? What do we use to change the slope? It was an acronym. Think chicken. KFC. Keep flip change. Okay? Meaning, if the slope is positive 3 over 4, we keep the numbers, we flip them. 3 over 4 becomes 4 over 3. Then you change the sign. A positive becomes a negative. Okay? So, here, which equation in slope-intercept form that is perpendicular? The first thing is I'm going to take that slope, use KFC, and -4 over 9 becomes what?
9 over 4.
Positive 9 over 4. So get rid of what answers? Okay. Now it says the point, they give you a point, but it's not obvious. It says it crosses the x-axis at 36. If it crosses the x-axis, what type of point is it? It is an
X-intercept.
It's an x-intercept. If it crosses the x-axis, it's on the x-axis. A point on the x-axis is an x-intercept. Now, how would I write the x-intercept of 36? Would it be 0, 36 or 36, 0? 36, 0. So now I have a point, and my equations are already solved for y. I can type it into y equals and check to see which one is my answer. So go to y equals 9 over 4 x plus 81.
Bro.
Now, what's the fastest way to get to the 36? Second window. The first one gives me 36, 162. So I changed the plus 81 to a minus. The second one gives me 36, 0. So your answer is D. 36, 162. All right. You are going to have questions about, and they've actually been pretty popular here in the past few years. So you're going to have questions about horizontal and vertical lines. Just remember Hoivux. And there's your reminder right there, so you can go through that. So transformations, moving on. Oh, actually go back to that page. The part that a lot of students do mess up, okay, is the parallel and perpendicular part, okay? Horizontal lines. When you have a parallel and perpendicular referring to a horizontal or vertical line type problem, make sure you sketch it, okay? You sketch your original. This is my original. And if it's parallel, it's also going to be what?
The same slope.
Yeah. Perpendicular to the y-axis, we know that the y-axis goes up and down, but my horizontal line still goes straight across. Okay? So make sure you're sketching these as well to double check and make sure that you are picking the correct parallel or perpendicular. All right, transformations. So transformations, the linear parent function or the starting point is f of x is equal to x. You must know how to convert from equations and functions. Equation form for linear, all linear equations are mx plus b. They're written in slope-intercept form. When you change it to function notation form or when you change it to f of x type question or type equation, the one thing that they do is they change the x to an f of x. Why? Because they say f of x is equal to x. They're the same thing. So they're swappable. Okay? They're interchangeable. Now, vocabulary that is used with this is steeper. Steeper means more upright. Less steep means laying down more. And you always go from dashed to solid. Okay? Shift up, you slide the whole line up. Shift down, you slide the whole line down. Okay? So an example of this type of question is going to be right here. It says, this is your linear parent function. This is your starting point. Which graph best represents this equation? Well, I can't recognize it just by looking at that equation. I must first convert it to y equals form. So my h of x is going to go back to y equals. I'm going to bring down my negative. And my f of x is going to change back to a what? For linear? Just an x plus 3. So you're trying to find the graph that matches negative x plus 3. The first thing I see is that my slope is negative. It's not f and j. Then your y-intercept is negative 3. So your answer is? Now you can type that equation in the y-equals and compare the graphs. Okay? Now, how does this look like? How do transformations look like for quadratics? Ready?
Wait.
No. What?
Why is it negative?
Anybody got gum?
Oh, sorry.
No.
You're right. Y-intercept is a positive 3, not a negative 3, so your answer is G. I'm so sorry. Thank you for, Quadratics. Your parent function for a quadratic is f of x is equal to x squared. So these are the ones that are interchangeable. They're swappable, okay? So in equation form is y is equal to x squared plus c, where you change the x squared to an f of x. Notice, the squared goes away and they put an f in the front, okay? That's one of the biggest things to remember. So if you look at the first question, they've given us an equation in function notation form. So you have to know that g of x is the same as y, but since this is quadratic, x squared, the f of x changes back to an x squared minus 9. What does a minus 9 do to the parabola?
It's a negative, or it goes down.
It just goes down, which is
D?
D. Yeah. D. It just goes down.
Below.
Below. Look at the ones next to it. Numbers 4 and 52.
Why is it just so far?
You also have transformations from vertex form. Same thing though. They take the squared away and they put an F in the front. Okay? So you can always go backwards. Looking at number 4, they've already left the square there, so you can even type this one into y equals. Okay? Which this number right here, what it does is it moves it left and right. So I know I can get rid of h and j. This is written in vertex form. This is my h. The formula originally has a minus sign in it, so that 7.5 is technically what kind of number?
A negative?
It's a positive number. In order for it to stay as a minus sign, it's a positive number, so it goes to the right. Now, let's say you forget that or you don't remember that. This is an equation that you can put into y equals. And that's what I'm going to do. X minus 7.5 squared. Okay? I hit graph. Guys, quit playing. I can hear you in the video. X minus 7.5, it moved to the right, not to the left. Okay? So don't worry about it if you don't remember how to use vertex form. Number 52. It was translated 4.5 units to the left. These are in vertex form. So if you plug in a negative number into a formula that already has a minus sign, what's going to happen? It's going to make it into a plus sign. 4.5 units to the left, meaning negative 4.5. These top two are written in vertex form. X minus h squared plus k. So if I plug in a negative 4.5 right there, it becomes plus 4.5 squared plus k, whatever, right? So your answer would be G. Now, h and j, those are... if you type this in the calculator, those are just moving up and down. This one moves it down. This one moves it up. And just quick recap of the vocabulary. Vertical stretch means it gets narrower. Horizontal, it gets fatter. Okay. What makes your parabola fatter? What did we say? Or what would I say?
Is it one or bigger?
Yeah. No, not bigger than 1.
Gotcha. Oh.
Fractions make it fatter. If it's bigger than 1, then you'll have a vertical stretch. Shift up and shift down, that's your plus signs. Reflection happens when the number in front of x squared is negative. So negative x squared. That's what causes a reflection. Okay. Now, because transformations is so difficult for a lot of students, it looks like I worked out a lot of them with my students last year. So here we go. Packet time. Starting with number 1, apparently. Number 1, Number 1, we did it in the booklet. The next one I did was number 3. There's no answer choices for this one, so that's what makes it a little bit more difficult than the ones in the booklet, okay? Now, the keyword in this is what? Parallel. So you at least know that the slope of it is what? Which is? Negative 1. Now, it also tells you that it's going to go through the point negative 5, 7. What can you use when you have a slope and a point? It's in the name.
Slope, intercept. Slope, intercept form.
When you have a point and point slope. When you have a slope and a point slope form. It's in the name. Now, you don't have to memorize this. You don't have to memorize this formula because it is in the formula chart. But always remember, y goes with y, x goes with x, m goes in the middle. So when I plug in my y, I'm going to get y minus what?
Y minus 7
Equals -1 times
times x plus 5.
plus 5. And to solve this,
Distribute.
okay,
So y minus 7 equals -1x minus 5.
and then how do you move the 7 over?
Add it. So it's y equals -1x minus 12.
Nope.
Oh, sorry, it's minus 2. It's plus 2. Oh, wait, I didn't put it as plus. I put it as minus 2.
Plus 2.
So is that the answer?
Yeah. You should be able to do that one. Should be able to do that one. Why did I do so many of these? Number 8. You'll see a number 8, but you have to flip over to the next page because it didn't line up. It's this one.
Wait, what's the rest of the question? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, it's on the next page. So it says, which statement about the line is true? These are the ones that have been tricking students lately. So I wanted to go over these. This is the vertical line. What does the X in VUX stand for? X equals. So X is going through what number?
-4.
-4. So you can get rid of B and D. You can get rid of B and D. Okay? Now from there, the U in VUX stands for undefined. So your answer is? Okay. But the next question, oh no, not that one. Which one is it? No, not that one. Number 11. The graph and the answer choices on number 11 are on different pages. Sorry. I don't know why it did that. So you have a horizontal line. What do we use for horizontal lines?
Ahoy.
Hoi. Where the Y stands for? So if you look at your answer choices, you can get rid of A and B. Now from there, look at the second part of the sentence. It is parallel to the x-axis or perpendicular to the x-axis. Well, if you find the x-axis is right here. The horizontal line is here. What kind of lines are those? So your answer would be C. Okay? Look at number 12. Number 12 should all be together. Another horizontal line, so we use hoi. So we get y equals what? Yeah, it's crossing the y-axis at the number 2. So the equation is? Now, which letter tells us the slope?
O.
The O. So the slope is 0. Just 0.
On the equation.
The equation is, oh, sorry, the equation is y equals 2. You're right. Thank you. My brain's not working. And then I think the last one I did with them was number 13, which is on the next page. Which this one has drop-down menus, so yeah, makes sense. All right, so switching this equation back to y equals version. You have to change it back to a y, bring down the 1/2. What does f of x change to this time? To an x. Look at what it gives you in the beginning. It's either going to change to an x or an x squared. This one is an x plus 3. Now you can type that equation into y equals to see what happens, or to see, yeah. But a 1/2 fraction is going to what? This is not a parabola, so it's not fatter and narrower. It's, let's look at it. You're going to type both of these in. You're going to type in your original and your new one. Okay? So my original is y is equal to x. That's my parent function. The new one is 1/2 x plus 3. And you want to see what changes. So I'm going to hit graph. No, so it's like my blue one changed to become the red one. We're not trying to find where they intersect. The blue one. So if it started laying down more, what do we call that? Less steep. And what about the y-intercept?
It went up.
It went up. So the drop-down menu writes greater. And then this box is less steep. Okay, you should be able to do the rest of them. But if you can't, let me know. And I'll help you with that.